This Pharisaic impulse assumes that danger in itself is evil. If there's a danger in something, it should be avoided altogether. It treats the created world, God's created world, as morally suspect. Food, wine, touch, pleasure, work, politics, all of these things are viewed as snares rather than gifts because there's a danger in each one of them. Now, if we applied that carte blanche across our lives, we wouldn't do anything. We wouldn't even drive your car. There's a danger you could get in a car accident. But this is the error of that Platonic dualism in religious garb. It's the same spirit that Paul had to deal with that calls marriage unspiritual, that calls labor worldly, that calls earthly joy unsafe and dangerous and must be avoided. Such thinking doesn't exalt God's holiness. Instead, it diminishes His goodness in creation. It replaces the worship of a wise, sovereign Father and replaces it with the servile dread of a tyrant who must be appeased by endless caution. But Christ came not to fence life, but to free it for His glory. His righteousness is not in the clenched fist of the ascetic, monastic person that's running away from everything, trying to create their own safe space, but the open hand of the worshiper who sees all of life as belonging to God. To exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees includes that we surpass that fearful avoidance with a righteousness of faith, one that truly trusts in God enough to use His gifts rightly. It's not more rules. It's deeper love. Not more distance from the world, but greater devotion to Christ in the world. So here's a brief biblical and theological correction. In Scripture, the pattern that we see is God never commands flight from creation, but faithful dominion over it, all the way back from the garden, Genesis 1, the creation mandate. And we notice also that Adam's fall wasn't for engagement in creation, but for engaging the creation wrongly. He did so against God's law. And then Christ, the second Adam, restores us to lawful rule and holy enjoyment of creation under God's law by His Spirit, governed and guided by His Word. If we look at Christ's example, we remember that He came eating and drinking in Matthew 11. He attended weddings. He reclined at tables and sanctified common life by His presence.